You're defined as love today. This song is dedicated to you. This is my story. So welcome to the island of the Misfit Toys. Welcome to the island of the Misfit Toys. Broken girls and boys. This is how my story started. It was like this. I was sitting in detention, feeling like the Breakfast Club, staring at my desk, wishing that I had a hug. I wouldn't pay attention, but what I paid for love. So when you're searching for some stuff, man, it's like a drug. Awkward, introvert, really never had a turn. Struggling with my heart, stomach's all up in the turn. Stomach's all up in the turn, rumbling up in my shirt. Wishing that I had a girl with all the other kids burn. They say these nerves gotta wait their turn. My heart's sick, but I'm living in a dream deferred. My heart ripped to pain, now for the first words. I couldn't get away until I read the first verse. My only word that I learned in my first verse. That it's time for me to know the net worth. I realize the needs is to make a second verse. Melody said, take away the misses. All the misfits, rejects, losers, defects, widows, awkward, broke down, strange kids. Those who forget, you were loved, you were loved. You were loved, scared kids, emos, straight kids, widows, gay kids, losers, broke down, zeros. Those who forget, you were loved, you were loved. So welcome to the island of the Misfit Toys. Welcome to the island of the Misfit Toys. Welcome to the island of the Misfit Toys. So welcome to the broken girls and boys. Comes out to you, brother. Labels are a funny thing. We use them to define ourselves. We use labels to introduce ourselves, but so often we allow these labels, these things that come out, and they live us and they stick to us. Instead of being defined by a purpose, instead of being defined by hope, instead of being defined by the fact that you're loved, we allow the labels that people tell us to tell us. Hello, my name is Misfit. I'm here to tell you today, you are not defined by any one of these labels. You have a hope and you have a future. And that's why this song is dedicated. This is for misfits, rejects, losers, defects, widows, awkward, broke down, strange kids. Those who forget that you are loved, you are loved. And this is for black kids, white kids, all kids, night kids, all kids, right kids, any kid will write this down. You don't forget that you are loved, you are loved. You are loved. Misfit Toys. You woke up today, something happened that made you feel this way. You wore the label. Maybe you woke up today because of your circumstances, your situations. You wore the label. Notice the more I begin to allow people to label me and write me off and define me as one thing, the more I begin to wear the label. How do I know that? Because that's exactly how I live my life. I felt like I was a misfit, a reject, a loser, a defect. Weird. Awkward. Today we came to share with you that you can be redefined. That's why. This is for the misfits, rejects, losers, defects, widows, awkward, broke down, strange kids. Never forget that you are loved. You are loved. And this is for the skate kids, emos, straight kids, widows, gay kids, losers, broke down, zeros. Never forget, you're loved, you're loved. Welcome to the island of the Misfit Toys. Funny thing about labels, the real funny thing about labels is how often we hand them out. How often we let them cover our lives. How often we let each and every label tell us that we'll never be any more than just that label. That we'll never be any more than what we're defined by. Maybe it's our friends, maybe it's our schools, maybe it's our family, maybe it's our finances, maybe it's any of those things. Either way, those things crush us. We walk around labeling. We walk around hurt. We walk around feeling rejected. You are not defined by any of those labels. You have a purpose. You have a future. You have a hope. You have something that's amazing. You know what that is? It's you. You have love today. You have a purpose today. You have a hope and a future today. Why do I know this? Why do I know this? Because I sat exactly where you sat. I sat in a school assembly while some speaker came to talk to me, trying to tell me, you're going to be okay. Crossed my arms, made jokes with my friends, didn't pay attention, zoned off. Why? Because it hurt to deal with the fact that I was labeled. It hurt to deal with the fact that I was written off. It hurt to feel that I was defined by these things. And some of you right now, you've allowed those things to happen. But I had a teacher. Can we give it up for our teachers just for 1 second? Can we thank them? I actually had a teacher. He looked me in the eye one day. He said, hey man, you can't continue to allow these things to define you. He said, you know what? He said, you got a purpose. That day, that misfit part of me was redefined. And where I was a misfit, I knew that I was loved. I knew that I had a purpose. I knew that I had hope. I knew that I wasn't going to give up, and I ripped that label. Then I stared into my future. I began to look at my future and I said, I will not allow myself to be defined by my past, to be defined by my situation, where I felt like a loser because of who I was and what I had or what I didn't have. I got redefined. I realized that I was loved, that I had a purpose. Each one of you has a choice on how you're going to define yourself. Each one of you has a choice on who you will let speak into your life. Each one of you has a choice of what your future is going to be. Will you rock these labels? Will you be defined by these things? Or will you allow yourself to be redefined? That's my question to you today. I want to start by just saying, first of all, you're 2015. Girls, I want to compliment you on your hair. You're doing a great job. I want to take you just a little bit back in time. I used to like this girl. She sat 3 seats behind me. She had bangs this high on her forehead. This high. It was so big she could hide things in them. That's how big they were. Now, fellas, some of y'all are slacking on your game. I want to give you a little intention, a little game perhaps, on how to properly write a love letter. Some of y'all are like, I just see her text message. Not good enough. This is what I did. Pay close attention. Here we go. I like this girl. I wanted to ask her out. I was scared to death. In fact, I wasn't as tall as I am now. In fact, I was like 5'2", but I had the same size shoe size. I looked like an L walking down the hallway. Awkward, man. I didn't fit in. I was like Bilbo Swaggins, basically. I was a little Bilbo Swaggins walking down the hallway trying to make it happen, but I didn't know one thing was called the sneeze technique. It was the sneeze technique. It was like this. Got a pencil, got a paper. I wrote, Dear Jenny, I like you. Do you like me? Question mark? Hey, that's not where it ended though. See, some of y'all, they write your little love note, that's where you stop, you're good. Will you go out with me? Check. Yes box. Or no box, mid box, real strong. I made that box so tiny she couldn't even see it. The box was so big on the yes she could sit in it. Now, I do not possess the skills that girls possess when it comes to paper folding. I think when y'all go to the bathroom at the same time, you teach each other origami. That's just my guess. However, I did have what's called the sneeze technique. I went until my teacher was not paying attention. I went, achoo, and I threw it over my head and stuck in her bangs. I'm looking straight ahead. I can't see if she's reading it or not. All I know is that moment my heart is beating. I hated writing love letters, much less asking a girl out. I was scared to death. All of a sudden I hear this tiny little girl sneeze. You know your girl sneezes? Those little sneezes when you don't act like you're trying to sneeze, when you sneeze and you go. All of a sudden, a folded pterodactyl flew over my head. In Jurassic World. Love makes you do some crazy junk. I was scared to death. This is what I did. I opened it, that's what I did. Wait, like, did she check yes? Did she check no? I don't really know. Big one. Even if she accidentally checked yes, it still counts. Open it up. She checked yes!
Yeah!
Get that in my chair, I heard. I got her number. I received a call her that night. Now, at that point in my life, we weren't just poor, we was po. There's a difference. There's a difference between poor and po. Poor, you got like a couple phones. We had one phone with a 75-foot long cord. If I want to talk to anybody, I had to wrap around the dog, go outside the room, go over here. I call her up, conversation went as follows. What you doing, girl? She said, nah. What you doing? At this point, I'm blanking out. I have no idea what to say. Nothing. What you doing? That one wasn't at all. Misfit reject, loser, defect, awkward. I put the awk in awkward. We talked for about an hour about absolutely nothing until my mom walks in. She can't take it no more. She's tired of tripping over the long cord. She's tired of the dog being wrapped up. She's like, "Go, I'm back!" Girl, I gotta go. Wait for it. You hang up first. She goes, "No, not today. You hang up first." I said, "No, girl, you hang up first." She said, "No, you hang up first." I said, "No, you hang up first." I said, "Stop. On the count of 3, we finna both hang up. 1, 2, 3. He's still there.
He's still there.
What you doing? I see her the next day. I walk up to her. Now keep in mind the height differential problems of 6th grade boys versus 6th grade girls. Some of the girls hit the height thing first, and some of us boys are left standing there like Bilbo Baggins. So when I walked up to see her, it was like Gandalf walking down the hallway with Bilbo. Got my arm on your shoulder. Yeah, girl. She knocked my arm off. I didn't understand. 24 hours had passed. I'm like, she's my girlfriend. All of a sudden, everything changed. I got back to the same class. All of a sudden, I was a big tear. Smiling. Not the same type of pterodactyl. This one was like, "Ah, she's breaking up with you!" Open it up, and it's just the words that everybody never wants to hear. It was, "Can we just be friends?" I know, I was there! Broke my heart in half. In fact, so much so, that all I felt like at that moment was a loser, a misfit, a reject. I felt defined by my circumstances. I felt defined by what had happened. I'm here to let you know that, first of all, no matter what happens to you today, if no one else tells you this today, I'm here to tell you that you are loved, you have a purpose, you have a hope, you have a future, and you are not defined by any of these things.
Yeah!
You may feel right now like a misfit. You may feel right now like a reject. You may feel like a reject and a loser. We're here to tell you that we have nothing more to tell you today than you have a hope and you have a future. Thank you guys so much. I'm going to turn this back over to Dee. She's going to dismiss us.